Good day. We are the Pagosan Youth Thought Center, and we honor all religions, all faiths, all people of the world, of course, and masks and no masks. Everybody that has a conscience, we are with it. So we're going to go ahead and start with a great song by Karen Drucker. We're going to join her and sing with her, I Got the Power.
I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power.
Yeah.
Someone else could do it all for me. I've got to get, just get started. Take one step toward my destiny. I'll define my direction with clear-cut intention. What will be, then watch it come to me. 'Cause I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there ain't nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside me. I've got the power inside of me.
Right. There we go. All right.
We perform this ceremony, the lighting the flames of faith, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to the truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God for the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Reading for today is from the March issue of the Science of Mind magazine. It was guided this month by Reverend Joanne McFadden, who is a Science of Mind minister teaching at the Centers for Spiritual Living, New York. She begins with a quote from Ernest Holmes from his famous poem, The Voice Celestial. Within each man a sacred center lies, which neither births nor death can ever change. And here the self-immortal waits the kiss that wakes and weds him to eternal bliss. In paraphrasing her writing, she says, in 1943, in the Nazi labor camps in Poland, prisoners crafted a shofar, which is a ram's horn trumpet that Jews traditionally sound to usher in the high holy days. And this happened at several of the camps at that time. And for prisoners to practice their faith was strictly forbidden and could have resulted in their death if they were caught. Yet they did it anyway. There are many interpretations of the shofar's significance. A call to confront one's mistakes and return to God, acknowledging being surrounded by God and to give devotion to God. Despite the risks, returning to the divine was an imperative for the imprisoned Jews. She states that she loves examples that show that there is a part of us at the center of our being that is completely untouched, unscathed, and whole. When they sounded the shofar, the prisoners were connecting with that place within them where the divine resides, a part of themselves that could never be touched or changed by outside circumstances. It is the deep well of divine strength that exists in everyone. It is in this place that we find peace, no matter what has happened to us or around us. This place is eternally available to us. It is our place of wholeness from which we can draw the strength to face anything that comes our way. When the Jews at the internment camps sounded the shofar, they defied their captors and affirmed the power of God within them. What an amazing example of steadfast faith. And so I'll leave you with this affirmation that she wrote. And I hope that you hold it close to your heart and it surfaces in your consciousness throughout the day and the weeks that follow. I know that deep at the core of my being is the place where I am whole, complete, and perfect. I connect with it and experience the peace of God.
Thank you, Teresa. Now we got a great song that you all will recognize because it's Four Guys from Liverpool. I got to start wrong on this one. Just come on.
Now it's that time of our service where we settle in for a few minutes of contemplative meditation. invite you to settle into your chairs. Feel yourself supported by the chair, by the floor, by your neighbor at physical distance. And know that you are supported through all of your life. In every effort you take up, in every attempt to do something new, you are supported. For you are loved. You are the beloved, expressing as you. You are empowered, protected, guided, and sourced with whatever it is that you need that is yours to do. So whether it is an idea or courage or financial wherewithal, you are sourced. For you are the expression of the divine in the world today. wisdom, divine intelligence, divine love opens our hearts, our minds, guides our hands and feet, so that we might be of service in the world, to the world. Spreading love, faith in the goodness of all life, supporting all life. And as then our intention is known in the one mind, it is made manifest. And we are at peace. Lights of love shining in the world, bringing love. So I invite you to take a deep breath, bring your consciousness back to the room with your open heart and your open mind to listen to the wisdom espoused by our speaker today, Reverend Sheila White Feather.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. These are really interesting times for all of us. And it really is a time for us to ponder, to go within, and to re-find yourself, redefine yourself, and know what you're made of. Today's title is Heart Power, the beauty of an open heart, and love is the answer for planetary healing. So, how in touch are you with your heart? Many of us have busy schedules and a lot of thoughts flying through our minds all at once. Some of us have several colliding all at once in our minds. And we even find it hard to express ourselves because we have so much coming in and in all directions. In the times that we live in now, the modern times, we have a lot of electrical energy coming toward us. Besides, and we're in our cars, driving over 35 miles an hour, I would bet most of us are, many times over. And I don't know if you know that, but the rhythms in our bodies, if you go over 35 miles an hour, your polarities in your body get scrambled around a bit. We are electrical beings. And we have an electric heart too, by the way. Very, very much in tune with electrical energy. And so after you've traveled, and even your animals, if your animals are in the car with you or you're hauling a horse, if you're over 35 miles an hour, their polarities are also switched into a different direction. And so there are exercises you can do, and you can find a holistic healer who knows these exercises about polarities in your body and how to balance them. And so know that your cranial rhythms in your body, which run down through your spinal column from your brain to your tailbone, is a wave-like motion. And it is affected by going over 35 miles an hour. So we're just in a faster world. But we've all elected to be born into this time of the faster world. And because of that, sometimes we have lost touch with our hearts. And so that's why I felt it was so important to talk about connecting with your own heart. Because your answers will not be found in the mind. You can collect information with the mind, but to sort things out and get the truth, the total truth, not from online and not from the television, but from your spirit, which resides in your heart. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, or how is that? Human beings having a spiritual experience, however you look at it. And so it is that spiritual heart and knowingness that I'm reaching out to today in each and every one of you. So that you know that you do have your answers. And what is an answer for one person may not be the truth and answer for another. And that's in a Codes of the Spiritual Warrior book that I'm working on, of being a spiritual warrior, and how your truth today may be different, and probably will if you're evolving into a different truth tomorrow. And it comes from your heart. Sometimes we need to take a walk in the woods to sort out things, to get back in touch. And so right now, the energies that are going on and what we're surrounded by, it's about grounding yourself, getting back in touch. And through meditation, you can slow down the rate of your heart. The physical heart has so many beats every minute. Some of us have a different number of beats a minute, and others have a slower beat, some have a faster beat. But there's what's called a norm in the medical hospitals, you see. And some of us skip beats, okay? What does that have to do with the beat of your spirit? The slower your beat of your heart, the quickening of your spirit happens. And so meditation, touching the earth, touching a tree, being with your pets. Our animals are always in the heart zone. They don't know anywhere else to go. They have, usually they say about puppies, they have one emotion, it's called happy, and then they like to eat and sleep and do a few other things. But their emotion's happy. They know nothing else. They're straight from the heart. And that's why so many of us love puppies, and we want to hold puppies and feel them, and just be, it raises our heart vibration. And so I'm asking you today, those of you know how to raise your heart vibrations, and some of us may be struggling with our heart vibrations. And so we're here today to share that with you, that you're okay and you're fine. Our heart being a physical, it is a wonderful, wonderful, muscle of the body, an organ of the body. And it's continually going while we're sleeping, resting, whatever we're doing, our heart is continuously pumping. Would you not say that we unconsciously aren't even recognizing the strength and the faith and the trust of our heart to keep beating? And it is so with your spirit. Your spirit has a beat to it. So to recognize that beat of your spirit is something else that, as I walk the shamanic path, and those of us that are close to nature, you have definition every day, and you have total confidence that your spirit is alive and well. And it's right here in your heart. You can't think your way into it, and you can't think your way out of it. You have to go into your heart. Many times when I've spoken to people who have had problems and challenges in their lives, they may have lost their job, they may have lost a loved one, they may have a real problem with someone they really care about that's in trouble and what they can do. And this is coming from their heart, this isn't coming from their mind. We know about consequences in the mind, but the heart doesn't know that, and sometimes has to find that out for itself. So what I offer to them is that the answers are not here, but they are within your heart, and in the spiritual dimensions that surround us. Because we are many multidimensional beings. And so your answers, if you cannot find them here, go inward to find them. And your meditation is your fast track to finding that. We have a wonderful reading out of the book, I Am the Door. And I'd like to read that to you right now. And then we're going to move into it. Because some of you are experiencing pain. Some of us are experiencing pain from families or friends who are very distraught at this time. And so we are being challenged in the chaos and in the mistrust to stay calm and stay real. So in this book, it's about healing our wounds, and it's called Pain Brings Awareness. Pain is a messenger. It brings awareness. It tells you where and how you've betrayed yourself. That is important. Until you are aware of the self-violation, your journey to healing cannot begin. Pain is not a punishment. It's a call to become conscious, to raise your hidden suffering into awareness. How many people we know now that are in hidden suffering? Some are hovering in their homes, afraid and frightened, and they may not have the knowledge of meditation. They may not have a faith that they can trust. They may not even have one person they can talk to. And so these are the people that we can reach out to, and to each other, to support through these times, and share all of the wisdom from your heart. We can say words to people, but they can tell a difference between you speaking from your mind and speaking from your heart. And that is so. We know that. There's a great book out there by Carolyn Myss called Why People Don't Heal and How They Can. And in this book, she discovered many people that had illnesses. The ones who healed were in touch with their spirit and their heart and went inward. The ones who didn't even know it existed. No one had talked to them about them having a spiritual side or a bone in their body, and that their heart speaks their truth. How do I get in touch with my heart? I've covered it up with drugs, addictions, a fast-paced life, going after the brass ring. You know, it's amazing how many people have not been in touch with their hearts and their spirit. They're intertwined. And let's just bring in the emotional body too. Now, Carolyn Myss is a medical intuitive, and that was a gift given to her. She did not have to go anywhere to study to become this. This is who she was and who she is. And so you might look up Carolyn Myss. It's MYSS, by the way. And another great philosophy and teachings of how to heal yourself. Now, I'm speaking about healing now. We're talking about emotional broken spirits healing. And you know who they are. Some of them are in our families. Some of them are friends. Some of them are co-workers. And so this philosophy of Eckankar, if any of you have ever studied Eckankar, and Paul Twitchell, the Tiger's Fang in particular, he's written many books. And I'm going to say that he and his sister were born into the 30s, 1930s, in that time frame in the world. And as children, their parents taught them Eckankar. And somehow they were separated from their supporting family. And as children, Paul got very, very ill. Now, as Eckankar is study of the dream time and your dreams and meditation, being in touch with all the other realms. And for you to take their courses, it's a 3-year course of studying your dreams seriously, and also meditating and increasing your intuition. Your heart is your intuition also, by the way. And so in this book, The Tiger's Fang, Paul wrote about when they were just children, they knew how to meditate and they knew how to heal. They were taught this very interesting phenomena of removing their spirits from their body through meditation, where you can feel the separation from the physical body, and then you can heal your physical body of the disease. and it is almost an instant healing. Very fascinating work. So you may want to read this book. He was terribly ill with a bronchial respiratory, like near death, pneumonia. And his sister came in and said, we know how to do this. And so they both went on a journey and meditated and prayed and went into their spiritual, intuitive bodies. And they healed that night. They healed him that night. And so there are many methods out there for you to explore and know. There isn't any one way. There is no one true religion. There is, and I'm sorry, I'm going out on a limb and may offend some people, but there is no, we are all together in this. We're all human. And I believe this global times and what we're going through right now is all about us coming together and putting down our differences and knowing that we're all spiritual beings and we have hearts to share with one another, and we have healing to share with one another. We have it all. And so if anybody ever tells you that you don't have the power and that basically that you don't have, that you don't have, know that you have everything you need. And I know we've said this before, when you were born, you were given all the gifts you need to walk this lifetime. All the gifts you need. You just have to remember. So some of us are here to remind others to remember who you truly are. Who are you? And there are some of us that won't let you off the hook. If you try to say something derogatory about yourself, or life is unfriendly or unfair, or whatever your negative statement in the world is, take a look at that. And we're going to say to you, there's other ways to be, and you, I know you have the power. You have the power to heal yourself and have that belief system. And so surrounding ourselves with positive people and with positive airwaves is an awesome, awesome, awesome way to heal yourself. And then take your power, go within, and know that the answers are there. They're always there. Some people come out and they say to me, well, I didn't get my answer, I asked for it. Well, sometimes it may take a little while because there are certain events or certain things or a certain person you're to meet yet that has your answer for you, that brings it to you. Have you ever met anybody and they said the exact words you needed to hear at that moment to remind you to stay on track, that you really do know the truth of the situation? And so I know you know this. I know you know this. And so from the heart, I'm saying to all of you, our hearts are crying at this time. Some of us have that memory. Our hearts are feeling other people's hearts. When you walk into the stores, you may feel the fear. You may just wake up in the morning and feel it in the air. Our animals are feeling it too. And so this is a time to go in your heart with great compassion and truly love one another. As George Harrison, one of our famous, wonderful Beatles, on his deathbed said, his dying words were, love one another. And we heard that from another one, from the Christ too. So know that there are greater things that you can do. We're here to remind you of your greatness. This is your great awakening. This is our time. Some of us were born for this. I was speaking to a shaman the other day, Dr. Tom Garcia, for those of you that know him. And I said, it seems as if I've been waiting for this my whole life, to wake up, to come alive, and finally be able to pursue exactly who I am, what I am, helping others, being of service, and truly loving people for who they are and how they are. If you're feeling weird right now, that's okay, because we're going through changes. I was like a tiger in the cage. What was that, 2 days ago? And I told my husband when he came home, I said, I've been having a really strange day. I've been feeling some really weird things going on, anxiety coming up, but it wasn't like the normal anxiety. This was as if You can feel that something new is coming into the cells of your body. You can feel it. And some of us are on the first wave and the front wave of this energy surrounding our planet. And some of us are on the second or third or fourth wave. We're all taking it in different ways, the ways that we are naturally meant to take them in. And I knew something new was going to come out of this. I know that it is now time for each of us to strongly live in your faith and truth and write these down. It's always great to channel it right through when you wake up from your dreams, when you wake up from your meditation. Please write it down, because at that moment you are in tune with spirit, and unfortunately the mind and the brain will not remember that. And that's a clue that you're with spirit, because if you have no memory of what you just said to others who are in an aha moment, that is the truth of spirit coming through you at that time, the Holy Spirit. And so know that. Welcome, arms wide open, for the Holy Spirit, which is your connection to the Almighty, the All-Being, all creation, all the universes around the world. And know that. There are great leaders out there. Some of them are on the airwaves, so get to know them. Lee Harris has a beautiful message, so you can look up his energy update message, which we are going to show after our meeting today here, for those of you to draw inspiration. And one last thing, remember a sense of humor. Laughter is one of the best things for your heart. And I know at home, Bruce and I, we may take in some information online and we go, okay, we got to shift this energy. We have to laugh now. So watch whoever, the Three Stooges, you know, or whoever, SpongeBob, whoever makes you happy, and laugh, because that's the best medicine for your heart. Your heart needs this. We need to lighten up, folks. And so be the light you are, shine it, be your heart's energy, and love one another. And that's all we have today. We're going to go into our offering space. We have some beautiful offering music. And you can go to the offering basket in the back of the room, and then we're going to have a lovely, lovely song for us to finish off today. We thank our music department. We thank our camera people. We thank those of you that are here today to hold space.
Thank you, Rika. We're going to close out with a great song. I want to comment about this song. One of the greatest forces, the greatest force on the planet is nature. The life force that creates the beautiful planet. It's nature. And it doesn't even think how to work. It just does it because it just all works together. Nature is this unified being that works together. And the human race has to get in resonance with that, and man, it's gonna take off. So this is a song by Canned Heat called Let's Work Together.
One, two, three, four. Together we stand, we're fighting before. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Oh, now when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you take, it's all uphill. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Oh, now 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours, what does it matter now in this life of ours? Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Yeah. Come on, let's work together. Make someone happy, make someone smile. Let's all work together and make life worthwhile. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. And now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Oh, come on, you people, walk hand in hand. Let's make this world of ours a good place to stand and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Because together we will stand. Every boy, girl,